All right. So, this is hot off the press information. With all this Spider-Man business, I guess I'm gonna put in my 2 cents and I'm gonna let bygones be bygones. So, if you haven't been on the internet, obviously you've been under a rock if you haven't heard about this news. Spider-Man is possibly going to be out of the MCU because apparently there cannot be a deal reached between Disney and Sony. Disney wants to do a 50-50 deal. Sony's not buying that. Sony wants to do a 5% increase of box office gross on the opening weekend, and Disney is refusing to that current deal on top of the 5%. There's a lot of misinformation going around. There's a lot of crazy tweets going around on Twitter, and I'm sorry if I have someone yelling in the background. My apologies. They are an idiot. But again, there is a lot of stuff going on with this deal. I saw people saying that they condone the fact that we nuked Japan before, so they want it to happen again just because they aren't getting another MCU Spider-Man possibly in the future. And that is crazy. That is insane that people are advocating genocide all because a fictional character is in a turmoil right now with a business deal. This is business. It happens all the time. Sometimes if you're owning some joint partnership, you're going to have a problem going forward with your partner when new things are proposed on the table and you feel like you want more and you don't want to work more for less. That's how it goes. That's how it goes in the nature of the business realm. Disney feels like they worked on a lot of MCU Spider-Man films. They worked a lot on those films, and Sony did advertising rights, and they want more, and they don't want to get less. They don't want to get apparently 10 million out of Spider-Man Far From Home, and that movie grossed like $1 billion, while Sony is just putting advertising and marketing rights and calling it a day. Sony is also kind of at fault as well, not coming to a compromise because they want to put a stranglehold on Spider-Man because they want to keep that IP going. It's not the best for business when you go back in the past and you realize that they tried to do a Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse, and they also tried to do the Amazing Spider-Man on their own, and that didn't turn out well because after the Raimi movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were kind of underwhelming. So both sides are at fault. One side wants to be greedy, the other side wants more control over the IP. I see people throwing shade at Sony as if they're not going to buy another PlayStation 5 or Spider-Man PS5, and they won't turn out to be habitual hypocrites because that's what these people do. They make these bold, outlandish claims for boycotting, and they never really boycott, and they never really understand that Sony Pictures and the PlayStation division is two separate entities, and your boycott is pointless because you're going to buy these games and these products anyway. At the same time, Disney is trying to buy up a lot of companies. They should focus on trying to make the X-Men good and those Fox licenses good before they decide to say, hey, we want 50% of this, we want to do this with this property. You need to focus on what you have already, and your live action remakes are not that great. The Lion King wasn't as good as the original. You need to really clean up house. You really need to evaluate what's going on with your reoccurring IPs right now. You need to make Star Wars a better household name because Star Wars under your banner is not great right now. I understand the fallacies and the problems with both of these companies. That's why I really don't agree with both sides. I'm on the side of wanting Spider-Man content to continue under a decent banner because I think it's kind of stupid that billionaires can't really get together and find out what is the best solution, what is the best alternative for all of these Spider-Man fans who really care a lot about the character on screen, and they want to see this media continue, and they know that Spider-Man is a profitable brand. So what is the real goal here? I think obviously what's going to happen is there's going to be a renegotiation on the table because I think when one side realizes that everything has been working fine up to this point, they'll go back and see, hey, some of these projects that we're trying to do to squeeze the license for more money is really fucking stupid. What if Morbius doesn't really go over? What if MCU Spider-Man is a blow to future events being set up and you don't include Spider-Man in them? I mean, I don't want to spoil it here, but Spider-Man Far From Home did end on a cliffhanger. How will they resolve that? No one knows, because Spider-Man won't be in the MCU, and you gotta come to a compromise somewhere down the line. It's the only way to really make all this stuff make sense and appease all the fans who adore Spider-Man. Either way it goes, I know the Spider-Man license is white freaking hot right now. There is no denying Peter Parker's success in the mainstream media. I just think people saying these weird, outlandish, boycott-like things, people saying that, oh, Spider-Man 4 should come back, when I don't think that's a reality, when Sam Raimi said himself that the script for Spider-Man 4 sucked and Sony wanted to do their own thing with that product. This whole situation is about control and money. That's all it really is. It's about control and money. Who owns this? Who has enough money to own that? And if there is some strong arming on Disney's part, it's not going to turn out well, because it's going to be in the public eye with these deals, with these ventures going on. And I believe someone said it best: if the fans are really vitriolic about the Spider-Man deal, then you're not really helping anything by saying that Japan needs to be nuked again. You're not really helping anything by saying there should be a buyout, that people should be migrated, that people should lose their jobs, etc. You have to think at the bigger picture here. I think in general they know that Spider-Man is a culturally big name, and they're going to do whatever they can take to preserve that notion. So for the people freaking out, for the people going apeshit, for the people going crazy, for the people saying that genocide needs to happen again, all because you're not getting a fictional character, fucking relax. Relax for a minute. Relax. Stop being crazy. If you don't like Disney, then stop watching their shit. Fucking relax. If you don't like Sony, then actually get some balls. Listen to your fucking words, live by your fucking own statements, and stop buying PlayStation products or stop going to Sony movies. I don't understand people who have the control to walk away from something and they choose not to do it. It's like Stockholm Syndrome or something. If I think a grocery store is selling me bad meat, guess what I'm going to do? The next day later, I'm not going to go to that same grocery store and buy that same meat to start complaining about it, because I already know it's bad for me. So why the fuck am I spending my money to buy it in the first place? Some people need to chill out as consumers. Stop taking the idea of fictionalized characters and behind the scenes business meetings as if you have control over them. You really need to stop doing that. At least open your mind to the idea that they know that Spider-Man is huge and that they want to preserve that at all costs, and they're not going to compromise that no matter who is in the wrong and who is in the right and in between. That's how the cookie crumbles. This is business. Companies get greedy all the time. It's just unfortunate that a couple of suits can't come to a decision when Spider-Man is reportedly out of the MCU. Apparently I saw that Tom Holland and Zendaya unfollowed a couple of Sony Pictures executives, and Kevin Feige is moving on from Sony. So I don't know. It looks like in the end of the day that the deal is really just done. It seems like everything is just set in stone unless something changes, and anything can change at this rate. That's how business goes. Some shit is not good 1 minute, and then the next minute down the road it gets a little bit better as we get revealed to more information, as there's more backroom talks between executives, developers, publishers, producers, heads up in the PR team, fucking VPs, all those people, and then it all boils back down to a resolution that makes sense and that is good for everyone. I mean, this shit did happen with James Gunn, right? Remember when he was fired and a lot of people feared that Guardians of the Galaxy 3 not picking up any directors, everything would go haywire from there? Well, after a couple of months of that controversy, they decided to hire the man back, and after he's finished with Suicide Squad, he's going to work on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so everyone wins in that department. The only thing is that they have to actually wait longer for the movie to get published, which is a shame, but that's how controversy strikes in. I guess I can take my time to talk about some of the good, at least, because there is some Sony Spider-Man releases that probably will be good movies, like Spider-Verse 2. I did really love Into the Spider-Verse. I thought it was a great animated film. It really fleshed out the character of Miles Morales. It really showed all these quirky Spider-Men from other universes. They probably could introduce the Gameverse. They probably could show more of Spider-Man 2099, which I think will happen given the post credits. They possibly could show Spider-Man from alternate universes, like the Japanese Spider-Man from the TV show they had featuring him. It could be all sorts of crazy and wacky adventures on that one, and it could be told with a really deep story that everyone is Spider-Man. I really did enjoy Spider-Verse for what it was. It was a shame that it really didn't do that well at box office. At the same time, for Venom 2, I did appreciate the first movie, but I felt like the villain Riot, he fell flat. Honestly, a Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse kind of hurt Venom in a big way, and I don't know if Sony will reintroduce Spider-Man into Sony Pictures if they do get full rights, if they do decide to go forward with a new interpretation of Spider-Man. All I know is that the funniest thing that's going to happen is Uncle Ben is going to get shot again. At first he was shot, and then he was shot again in The Amazing Spider-Man. Then he was fucking killed off screen in the MCU Spider-Man, and now he's going to be shot again. Go figure, right? It's like, let Aunt May die first. Let her be the bullet sponge. Let her be the human shield before I actually get shot again. I don't want to take this fucking L like Peter's parents did when they were spies and they fucking died. Let me just stay alive for once, fam. I'm Uncle Ben. I just want to be on a box of rice happily. Come on. But I digress. It's going to be quite funny if they reintroduce a new Sony Spider-Man later, depending on if he will be good or bad or just flat out absolutely obsolete when you really think about another reboot coming into the works. And if people will like it or not, I don't think it's going to go over as well as some other people think it will. But once again, Venom 2, I think the movie does need a little bit of that visceral PG-13 edge, or at least implement your R rating, fam, because Venom was kind of a violent movie, but I hate the fact that half of the movie got cut. We really need Venom 2 in its fullest entirety with Carnage as the serial killer Cletus Cassidy. I think Woody Harrelson's alright, but he looks kind of weird in Venom 1, so I don't know what they're gonna do with that red foofy hair. He looks kind of like a clown, but I don't know. I digress. Morbius. Again, I don't think that Morbius is a leading man character. He's always interesting as Morbius, the living vampire, when he fights like Blade or whenever he fights Spider-Man. I don't know why Morbius is leading a solo movie, but this is what Sony wants to set up. I think Morbius is probably not going to be as good as people think it will be. People think this is Jared Leto's redemption arc. I guess we have to see what happens, but I don't think that Morbius as a character can carry a full movie by himself. I think he needs supporting roles to really stand out amongst the crowd, and it sucks he's not fighting Blade. That's one thing that really sucks here, is that the amount of crossovers, if this goes through, if Sony doesn't make a compromise, if Disney doesn't make a compromise, the amount of crossovers is going to diminish in this experience, and it really just sucks, for better or worse. You want to really see these characters go against other characters that Marvel may own, and that they might show up in crossovers later down the line. I think that was the sweet spot when they did like license out Spider-Man to like a 5-movie deal, you know what I mean? It was just really good to see all these characters interact on screen, and the potential is probably going to be a little bit squandered just because of it. But I do agree with one portion of the statement that Spider-Man will live on because he's getting a new comic series. He's still highly popular. There's going to be a Spider-Man PS5 game around the corner. I mean, Sony just bought Insomniac, so the possibilities are still endless, but the crossovers in films may not be so endless after all. As for Disney themselves, well, Phase 4 is not as interesting as the ideas and premises behind Phase 5 will be, but that remains to be seen. They have Blade, they have Guardians 3, they have the possibility of Fantastic Four and X-Men coming down the pipeline. They need to focus on that, because if they just throw out garbage, then a lot of people are going to be red fucking hot at the idea that these crossovers were meaningless. So work on your own brand, make more money there, show your quality, and maybe Sony will come running back. You never know. If you fuck it up, then I think people will be content that Endgame was their last movie, and that's about it. You need to really strengthen your core and just make your overall core, which is all these franchises you bought, even better, because like I said before, Star Wars really isn't that hot right now under the Disney banner. As for the fandom, I think you guys just really need to chill out. I once again think that people are freaking out over the littlest minute details, and they should wait more as this develops and see what happens, for better or worse. If worse comes to worse, then I can understand some people being frustrated, but if things get better, then that means that Spider-Man is going to keep thriving in the mainstream media, and there's nothing that we can do or say otherwise but wait. I can't believe I elapsed 10 minutes. Holy shit. Well, that's another win for me, because there was a lot of noise, a lot of shit going on, but I wanted to get this sorted out, recorded, and done, just in case people wanted to hear my thoughts on this. Again, you know, I'm just waiting to see the ultimate verdict, but so far, I mean, it seems like it's kind of bleak right now. Marvel Studios did put in a lot of work for MCU Spider-Man, and Kevin Feige deserves his credit. At the same time, Sony has a right to protect the assets that were given to them years ago. I don't think anyone in here is particularly in the wrong for their actions and behaviors over the past week or so. But then again, it always gets better when people find out what the fuck is going on and what to do from there. So I'm just like waiting this one out subconsciously. I think that's the best decision for everyone. I don't think they're going to go as far as to say, oh, Spider-Man PS5 is canceled. Someone's going to get strong-armed out, even though I don't think that Disney can buy PlayStation, which is a Japanese company, and it's going to be an American company trying to buy them, and I believe there's laws in place for that, as well as every time Disney buys a corporation, they always catch on to their debt, so that's fucking really bad if they do that. I don't think they could buy PlayStation. Come on, people, you gotta be fucking realistic. I don't think that shit's gonna happen at all. I don't think they're gonna get strong-armed to that point where they buy an entirely separate division so you won't play your games anymore. Holy shit, the conspiracy theories are real. It goes on both sides, man. It's been crazy. If you have a Twitter account, everything has been wild. I think just everything I've been showing you so far in the illustrated video itself has been quite the journey that I have been retweeting, but I want people to see it because I like giving my opinions on things. I like discussing these things with you guys. So tell me, what do you guys think of this recent deal between Spider-Man executives not really deciding what to do and coming at this impasse of the character being sold and distributed, and they can't really reach an agreement here? Let me know what you think. Will this spell doom for the end for Tom Holland in the MCU? Who knows? Will they reboot Spider-Man yet again? Tell me your thoughts below. Let me know. And once again, as always, I am Renegade Operative. Take care. follow me on social media, like the video, share it if you really enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. And before I say later, can we really just cancel stan culture? And can we really cancel the outrage culture that happens on the internet? Because honestly, I believe you people aren't helping anything in this case at all. You're just making yourselves look bad as fans if you're overly negative, or you say that people need to die over a fictional character and the country needs to get nuked again over a fictional character. Come on, people. Can we stop the standing? Can we stop the whole outrage culture? Can we wait for more information and not be misinformed jackasses each and every single time? Can we just do that, please? That would be great. If people could do that. I guess I'm asking for too much because ignorance is bliss. I thought I said I was gonna say later. I guess I will finally say it. Be good people. See you guys later.